The mere thought of surviving, not even thriving, just your first year of teaching can feel as daunting as, well, I don't know, picking a favorite Bronte sister? It's tough. But fear not, my friends, because in this video we're diving deep into the essential do's and don'ts for first-year teachers. We're talking tried and true strategies, cautionary tales, and maybe even a few laughs along the way, because if you can't find the humor in the chaos of a classroom, you're doomed. Okay, maybe not doomed, but it definitely helps. Whether you're fresh out of teacher's college, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, or you're a seasoned pro just looking for a refresher, stick around because I guarantee you'll pick up some valuable insights. And hey, if you're not a teacher but you know one, share this video with them. They'll thank you for it. Okay, let's kick things off with a big one: classroom management. It's the cornerstone of a successful teaching experience, and it all starts with establishing clear expectations from day one. Think of it like this. You wouldn't walk into a basketball game without knowing the rules, right? You'd be lost, confused, and probably end up with a technical foul. The same goes for your classroom. Kids crave structure, they thrive on routine, even if they pretend they don't. So lay down the law, my friend. Clearly outline your expectations for behavior, participation, and yes, even consequences. But don't just be a dictator about it. Get creative. Involve your students in the rule-making process. Let them have a say in what consequences seem fair. Maybe instead of a boring old detention, they have to come up with a haiku about their transgression. The point is, make it clear that you have expectations, and you're not afraid to enforce them, but also that you're not a robot. And speaking of not being robots, let's talk about consistency. This is key, folks. You can't be Dr. Jekyll one day and Mr. Hyde the next. Enforce those rules fairly and consistently, even when it's the last thing you want to do. Trust me, your sanity will thank you for it. Oh, and one more thing. Don't be afraid to adapt. As you get to know your students and their unique needs, you might find that some rules need tweaking. That's perfectly fine. The key is to be flexible and willing to adjust your approach as needed. Remember, you're not just teaching a curriculum, you're guiding young minds. And sometimes that requires a little improvisation. Alright, let's address the elephant in the classroom, the fine line between being a supportive mentor and, well, being friends with your students. Now, I get it, you want your students to like you, you want them to feel comfortable coming to you with questions or concerns, but there's a danger in getting too close, in blurring the lines between teacher and buddy. Here's the thing. You are not their peer. You are the authority figure, the guide on the side, the dispenser of knowledge and wisdom, or at least the person trying really hard to impart some knowledge and wisdom. And that requires a certain level of distance. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be a cold, unapproachable robot. You can be warm, approachable, and even crack a joke or two without becoming their best friend. Think of it this way. You can be friendly without being friends. You can show that you care about their well-being and their academic success without feeling the need to be invited to their birthday parties or follow them on social media. Because let's be honest, nobody needs to see their teacher's vacation photos on Instagram. Maintaining professional boundaries is crucial for establishing respect and authority in the classroom. When students see you as a friend first and a teacher second, it can undermine your ability to effectively manage the classroom and deliver instruction. They might be less likely to take your feedback seriously, or they might try to push the boundaries of what's acceptable behavior. So be friendly, be approachable, but remember to maintain those professional boundaries. Your students will thank you for it in the long run, even if they don't realize it at the time. Let me tell you something, folks, there's nothing quite like the feeling of walking into a classroom woefully unprepared, armed with nothing but a half-baked lesson plan and a silent prayer. I've been there, done that, and let me tell you, it ain't pretty. Thorough lesson planning is the backbone of effective teaching. It's the difference between a chaotic free-for-all and a well-structured, engaging learning experience. Now I know what you're thinking. John, I barely have time to sleep, let alone spend hours meticulously crafting lesson plans, and I hear you. But trust me, the time you invest in planning will pay off in dividends. Think of it like this. A well-planned lesson is like a well-written script. It provides a roadmap for you and your students, ensuring that everyone's on the same page and working towards the same learning objectives. It allows you to anticipate potential problems, gather necessary materials, and differentiate instruction to meet the needs of all learners. And here's the best part. The more you plan, the easier it gets. As you become more familiar with your curriculum and your students, you'll find that you can adapt and reuse lesson plans from year to year, saving yourself time and energy in the long run. So my advice to you, dear teachers, is this. Embrace the power of planning. Make it your best friend, your confidant, your partner in crime against educational mediocrity. Because when you're prepared, you exude confidence, and that confidence will inspire your students to learn and grow. Chapter 4. Extracurriculars, the siren song of teacher burnout. Extracurricular activities, the bane of many a teacher's existence. Now don't get me wrong, extracurriculars can be a wonderful way to connect with students, foster their passions, and build a sense of community within the school. But they can also be a slippery slope to Burnout City if you're not careful. See, when you're a new teacher, you're eager to please, eager to prove yourself, eager to be the teacher who does it all. You say yes to every committee, every club, every opportunity that comes your way, and before you know it, you're drowning in a sea of permission slips, meeting agendas, and after-school rehearsals. Now, I'm not saying you should avoid extracurriculars altogether, but I am saying that you need to be selective, my friend. Choose activities that genuinely interest you, activities that align with your passions and your schedule. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to prioritize your own well-being if you want to be an effective and sustainable teacher. So take a deep breath, assess your commitments, and don't be afraid to say no to some things. Your sanity will thank you for it. And hey, if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out to your colleagues or your administrator for support. They've been there, they get it, and they can help you find a manageable workload. Chapter 5. Steal like an artist, or at least, borrow from a mentor. Alright, here's a hard truth. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, especially not in your first year of teaching. In fact, one of the smartest things you can do is seek out the guidance and wisdom of those who've been there, done that, and lived to tell the tale. Experienced teachers are a goldmine of knowledge and practical advice. They've seen it all, they've made the mistakes, and they've learned from them. So don't be afraid to tap into that wealth of experience. Find a mentor, formal or informal. Someone who you admire and who's willing to share their insights with you. Observe their teaching style. Ask for feedback on your lesson plans. Pick their brains about classroom management techniques. Most importantly, be open to constructive criticism. It's not always easy to hear, but it's essential for growth. Remember, teaching is a lifelong learning process. There's always something new to discover, a new strategy to try, a new way to connect with your students, and who better to learn from than those who've already walked the path you're on. So, go forth, my friend, and find yourself a mentor. You won't regret it. Chapter 6. Self-care. It's not selfish, it's self-preservation. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of teaching self-care. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, I have papers to grade, lessons to plan, and a stack of emails that could rival Mount Everest. Where am I supposed to find time for self-care? And I hear you. But here's the thing. You can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of your mental and physical health isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. When you're burnt out, stressed, and running on fumes, you're not doing yourself or your students any favors. So make self-care a non-negotiable part of your routine. Find what brings you joy, what recharges your batteries, and make time for it, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Go for a walk, read a book, listen to music, meditate, whatever fills your cup. And don't feel guilty about it. You deserve to take care of yourself. Remember, a happy and healthy teacher is a more effective teacher. Chapter 7. Creating a classroom vibe. Think less dungeon, more treehouse. Now let's talk about the energy you cultivate in your classroom. We've all been in those classrooms, right? The ones that feel more like a sterile dentist's office than a place of learning. Don't be that teacher. Creating a positive and engaging learning environment is essential for student success. When students feel safe, respected, and supported, they're more likely to take risks, ask questions, and thrive. So how do you create this magical land of learning? Well, it starts with you, my friend. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Let your passion for your subject shine through, and your students will be swept up in the excitement. But it goes beyond just being enthusiastic. Create a space that's visually appealing, with student work proudly displayed, colorful posters, and maybe even some plants to liven things up. Encourage collaboration and interaction. Let students work together, share their ideas, and learn from one another. Remember, a classroom should be a dynamic and engaging space, a place where students feel excited to learn and grow. Chapter 8, SOS. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a lifeline. Here's a secret. Even the most experienced teachers need help sometimes. In fact, Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. It shows that you're committed to your students' success and that you're willing to do whatever it takes to help them learn and grow. So, don't be afraid to reach out to your colleagues, your mentors, or your administrators when you're struggling. Whether you're facing a challenging classroom management issue, need help differentiating instruction, or simply need someone to bounce ideas off of, there are people who want to help. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Teaching can be a challenging but incredibly rewarding profession, and when you surround yourself with a supportive network of colleagues, you're better equipped to navigate the ups and downs and celebrate the victories. Chapter 9. Organization, your secret weapon against chaos. Let's be real, teaching is basically a masterclass in organized chaos. But here's the thing, the more organized you are, the less chaotic it feels. And that, my friends, is the key to maintaining your sanity. Now, I'm not talking about becoming a neat freak who color codes their sticky notes, but I am talking about finding systems that work for you and sticking to them. Create a designated space for grading, keep track of important deadlines, and utilize technology to your advantage. There are a plethora of apps and online tools designed to make a teacher's life easier, from lesson planning software to classroom management platforms. Embrace the power of technology. It can be your best friend in the battle against disorganization. And here's a pro tip: break down large tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks. Instead of trying to tackle that mountain of grading all at once, set aside a specific time each day to chip away at it. You'll be amazed at how much more manageable it feels. Chapter 10. Parents, they're not the enemy. Well, mostly not. Parents. The other adults in the classroom, the ones who entrusted you with their precious offspring. Building strong relationships with parents is crucial for student success. When parents feel informed and involved in their child's education, they're more likely to support your efforts at home, which can make a world of difference. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, some parents are intimidating. They question my every move and send me emails at 3 a.m., and you're not wrong. But remember, most parents just want what's best for their children. They want to know that you care, that you're invested in their child's success, and that you're open to communication. So, make an effort to reach out to parents early and often. Send home newsletters, schedule parent-teacher conferences, and be proactive about addressing concerns. And when you do communicate with parents, be respectful, be professional, and be solution-oriented. Remember, you and the parents are on the same team. You both want to see the student succeed. So, work together, communicate effectively, and build those positive relationships. Go forth and educate, and maybe have some fun along the way? Well, there you have it, folks. Our whirlwind tour of the essential do's and don'ts for surviving, and hopefully thriving, in your first year of teaching. Remember, teaching is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be good days and bad days, moments of triumph and moments of utter chaos. But through it all, remember why you chose this profession in the first place. Remember the spark of joy you felt when a student finally grasped a difficult concept, the pride you witnessed when a struggling student finally found their voice. Those moments, my friends, make it all worthwhile. So go forth, be bold, be brave, be the best darn teachers you can be. And don't forget to have a little fun along the way, because let's be honest, teaching is way too important of a job to take too seriously all the time.